Monster Chase, a children game by Iello, and at its core, a memory game. Ouch, memory games. That kind of game whose only mention makes parents cringe everywhere. Because, well, our children like memory games and somehow we don't oppose them. We think that playing memory games does something good for our children's brains, although I don't really know what the science is about that. But somehow we tell ourselves it's going to be good for them. However, playing memory games with children can be kind of painful. And okay, we do it, we love them. But, if you can play a game that also is fun for you and entertaining for the kids, it's better than if you had to play a game that you're just, sitting through and biting the bullet, waiting for the game to be over and enjoying only your kid enjoying the game. So memory games are kind of like painful for adults to play with kids. This, however, is a new take, at least new for me. I hadn't seen a memory game done like this. It's a new take on some old memory game ideas, and definitely it makes the game a little more interesting. Thematically, the game is about monsters that come out of the closet and threaten these poor kids that are in bed. However, notoriously, monsters are afraid of toys, but each monster is afraid of only a specific kind of toy. So in the game, the players will look for the right toys to scare away the monsters that are threatening the kids. I assume the idea is that the kid is looking for the toys in the dark. This is why you do not know exactly where the toys are. These are the tiles representing the toys, and this is the box that you can see is used as a component. This is the closet in which you send the monsters after you have kicked them out of the bedroom. So you simply use this as a prop to store the cards of the monsters that you have, so to speak, defeated. Here you have a deck of cards. The monsters are on the other side, on the back. Actually, this is the front and this is the back of the cards. In any case, each side has a monster, and each side also indicates the type of toy that that monster is scared of. So showing that type of toy to the monster sends the monster into the closet. So at the beginning of the game, you shuffle these cards. You do not have to use them all. The more you use, the longer the game is. And with my daughters, we always play with a full deck. That's the kind of players that they are. There is an amount of cards. We have to use it all. So after you shuffle the cards, you draw one and you put it face up by the bed, and that indicates the type of monster that we have, which in truth is just decoration, is not necessary for game purposes, but what really matters is that the card tells us the kind of toy that we have to find to send the monster into the closet. Then we start flipping these tiles. The game is cooperative, which already is something fun and interesting for a memory game. Actually, it can even be played in solitaire. So we simply flip one of the tiles and we look at what we have. Oh, oopsie, we found the airplane. It is not the right toy to scare away this monster. When you draw a tile with the wrong toy, you see these three tiles here with this monster here. They're sort of like used to keep track of how many mistakes you made. When you make a mistake, you flip one of these tiles to the other side. Then we flip another tile, teddy bear, still not good. At the beginning, of course, there is a lot of luck because we have no idea where the toys are. Then we flip this one. Ah, too bad, the drum, not good enough. When you make three mistakes, and so this three-part monster is completely flipped to the other side, you draw a new monster from here. And now we find, another toy truck. Well, then you would have, finding the toy truck would send the two of them away. But let's say, for example, that actually this is the one that I come out. We put it somewhere around the bed. And, well, you remember where the airplane is, right? It's here. Kind of thought it was there. Alright, so as you can see, once you start getting a sense of what tiles you use, then from a completely luck-based game, it becomes a memory game. Hooray! When you find the right toy to scare away the monster, you simply put the monster in the closet. And that's it. There are a couple of other rules. So there is a special tile that is just an old sock. It doesn't do anything, meaning no monster is scared by the old sock. The tile is simply there to make things harder, because when you flip it, it has no use, it consumes one of your tries, and you have to remember where it is, so you're not gonna waste future tries. There's also a tile, oh, here's the old sock. There's also a tile that represents a monster sneaking out from under the carpet, I believe, or from a comforter. When that is revealed, you simply reveal a new card and you keep playing. You win the game if you send all of the monsters in the game to the closet. You lose the game if there ever are 4 monsters out of the bed. And there's a slightly different possible lose condition towards the end when you only have fewer cards left. But this is this general idea. The game can also be played in a variety of slightly different ways. There are variations. For example, you do not have to use those 2 tiles that I showed you, the old sock and the monster, to make the game a little easier. You may make the game harder by making this monster here shorter, so that you will have more penalties more often. The game can be played competitively if the kids alternate taking turns looking for the tiles, and then you simply retain the monsters that you were able to capture and you score them at the end of the game. So there definitely is a variety of ways in which the game can be played, which is of course good. The way that I described originally in this video is the way I play with my daughters. We play with all the cards, all of the tiles, 3 tiles to form the monster, the sort of like is the tracker of the mistakes that we make. And that's how we play it, and we really enjoy it. Even playing with all of these cards, the game doesn't take more than 10-15 minutes, and it really has a couple of interesting angles. There are nice discussions that we have, that I have with my daughters as we play the game. That is, at the beginning, it's all about luck. Then we start seeing things that we remember, so we have to talk about it. And we like to make things a little, messy like this, which also adds something. For me, for example, is a nice extra challenge, because when I play memory games, very often the tiles or whatever it is that we're using are placed in a nice square, so I kind of memorize where things are based, second row, third column. Here, it's kind of tricky for me sometimes, if we play the game and we don't look at these tiles for 5-6 minutes, when we go back, I'm not sure which one is which, and sometimes I make mistakes. And sometimes, very interesting, my daughters are much better at this than I am, which is really cool. I don't know what is it, but traditional memory games where you find a pair and score the pair. As an adult, I would always win. I have to restrain myself when I'm playing with my daughters to let them win a little bit. Here, I don't have to do that. Somehow, no. If it's the way their brains are wired or mine is, they're just as good at this game as I am, if not better than me. I mean, they're really impressive. There are so many times where I point to a tile which is incorrect and they point to the right one. So that is great. Definitely some more organic feel that we are playing together and working together, and their contribution is as valuable as mine, if not more. But then we also have other interesting discussions. For example, when we have sent a couple of monsters out because the monsters require tiles that we already knew. Maybe there's a monster that comes out and there's a toy that we never saw before, so we logically deduct that we have to look for tiles that we never looked at before, so we kind of try to work together and remember which ones we looked at. There are a couple of really fun, interesting elements, and it's just fun to have that discussion with your little kids. It's fun to have a memory game that is cooperative, and really this simple idea, this simple engine works well cooperatively. Kids like cooperative games because if they lose, they don't feel bad about themselves because the entire team loses, and if you win, they don't mind sharing the victory. So my kids really like cooperative games in general, and I like this one because it's fast, it's simple, but it still has some interesting decisions and it still has some interesting moments. Mind you, if you are 6, then that's what my oldest daughter is right now, and she really likes the game. The younger daughter, who is 4, also enjoys it very much. It's still a little hard for her. Sometimes she gets a little confused, but what she really likes to do is to have the role of the person that holds the closet. So mainly it is my 6-year-old and me that work to find the tiles, and when we get a card, we give it to the 4-year-old. The 4-year-old puts it in here, and she's incredibly happy. So everybody has a role, even if you have, again, the child you're playing it with has a younger sibling that doesn't quite get it yet, there's this fun, entertaining component here that the younger sibling can play with, and everybody will be entertained. Overall, this is a simple game, definitely one for kids, not, to me, one of those games that really is one of those kids games that doubles as a game for adults, but as a children game, it is it's definitely an enjoyable one. My kids have played it since we started playing it about a week ago. We played it like almost every day. I should say almost every evening. It is a relaxing game, so actually very often we play it right before bedtime, which is, delicate time. You don't want games that are too exciting, that get them too hyper. Somehow there's a game that keeps my daughters entertained but doesn't get them too hyper, so they're still able to relax afterwards. Monster Chase, in general, a little fun game for the little ones, a family game, a game mainly for children, but within these parameters, in the category of games that adults will play with children, definitely an enjoyable game.